The main thing is consistency. If you can't stay consistent with your program, you'll never get the results.
Preach it.
And
Preach it.
I mean, so the whole trick, it all boils down to figuring out a way that you can stay consistent.
Sure.
That you won't just like drift off and stop working out.
Right.
And it's like each person has to find that for themselves. There's a lot of different tricks, but the real thing is to find what works for you. Like you have to enjoy it. It's one thing is like if you don't enjoy the process, you'll never get the results.
And you'll never stick to it.
Yeah. It's just find a way to enjoy working out. And like if you want to get ripped, you're going to have to do some resistance training.
Right.
I mean, you don't see that many swimmers that you'd say are ripped. You say lean but not ripped.
Sure.
You have to get some. You have to build some muscle. You have to get some hypertrophy going. So the way to do that is some resistance exercise. Figure out a way that you can enjoy that and keep doing that, and listen to your body, which is the biggest thing. It's like we have this all in our minds. It's like we think, I want this body, I'll just visualize it, I'll really concentrate on it, you know, I'll spend a lot of time researching how to get this body. But that's not really what'll get the body. And in the process of trying to exercise to get that body, a lot of times we'll just dominate the body with our minds. We won't listen to the feedback we're getting from our body, and our body will just sabotage the whole thing. Our body will get injured, our body will get burned out, it'll affect our emotions. Like if workouts start being too tough, it's very interesting process that I've noticed, that if my workout starts getting too tough and I start pushing too hard, it'll affect my desire to go back into the gym. And that desire won't be as strong. And if that desire isn't strong, then there's a lot of other things in my life that come up to get my attention, and I'll just drift off.
Holy crap, Joe. You guys rewind that section right there. That 2 to 3 minutes that Joe just said is gold. I cannot tell you enough how much gold was in that last 2 to 3 minutes. Enjoying your workout, which fosters you to continue your workout, and then listening to your body. Because, Joe, I had an experience about 2 years ago where I was doing gymnastics, and I was doing a move that I wasn't used to. And my body was telling me, I don't know about this. And then my coach was yelling at me, come on, punch harder, punch harder. You know what ended up happening? Torn ACL, torn meniscus, torn LCL, I just completely trashed my right knee. The doctors called it a career-ending injury. I'm still working on rehabbing this, getting to the point where I can do more of the stuff that I really enjoy to do, which is functional training. And so I ignored my body, Joe, and I paid the price for it. And now I'm such a huge proponent of, hey, if this doesn't feel right, there's a reason. Your body's wisdom is telling you that this is not the exercise for you. And that's why I propagate these movement progressions and so on and so forth so much, because we need to make sure that things are appropriate for your body. And you need to listen to your body so you can learn those things. So, Joe, thank you so much for sharing that portion with us. Now, about the exercises you're doing right now, what are you specifically doing? Like, what specific exercises are you doing? Like, what's your workout going to be tomorrow or the next day or whenever you're going to do it next?
Actually, when we get done talking, I'll go down, and I'm in a clubhouse of the development where I live. And when we get done talking, I'll be going down to the gym to work out.
Perfect.
So I think today I'll be working on deadlifts and some shoulder presses, and also some rowing exercises. So
simple, right?
Yeah. I mean, and I'll probably be doing, to give you an idea, there's also one other thing that's really important is to have a clipboard or, on your phone or something to keep track of your progressions.
Sure.
Progression is everything. And if I don't want people to think I'm just going and winging it. There's a lot of fulfillment that I get out of seeing where I progress.
Right.
That is a huge reinforcement to the whole workout habit. Is if you can see, oh, I'm getting stronger. You know, if you're getting stronger, you're going to get more ripped, you're going to look better, and you're going to feel better. So go and keep a record of everything you're doing and watch your progression, because if not for anything else, it'll reinforce the habit of working out, because you'll feel satisfied that you're achieving your goal and you're on your road to achieving that goal.
That's fantastic. That's a great tip for helping people enjoy the experience, challenge themselves, quantify their progress. Do you have any more tips that people can use to actually like maybe manifest the enjoyment of exercise?
Well, I learned a breathing technique that actually is from Ayurveda. You want to talk about that now?
Oh, that's kind of your trick? Let's save that for a second. Let's go into the diet real quick, and then we'll talk about the breathing trick that you guys are going to definitely want to incorporate into your workouts. So that's fantastic as well, Joe. I'm glad you mentioned progression. As you know, I'm a huge fan of progression, both in terms of resistance and movement complexity, because it is everything. If you get better at moving, or if you get more skilled at a movement or stronger at a movement, your body has to change. That's that stimulus and adaptation we talked about. And at that point, you don't really have to think about other things, what type of cardio and whatnot. All you have to worry about is, are you making progress, right? And if you are, you're going to get there. And if you're not going to get there. It's that simple, right?
Exactly.
Awesome, man. So you talked about intermittent fasting. I'm a huge fan of intermittent fasting. I've done it for over 10 years. I'm very proud to say that, because it's a new thing. I read a book called The Miracle of Fasting by Paul Bragg, who was Jack LaLanne's mentor.
Oh, Paul Bragg is wonderful.
Yeah, he's wonderful stuff, man. So I read that book years ago and started intermittent fasting, and so I'm a huge fan of it for most people. There are certain times when people shouldn't intermittent fast, in my opinion. But you're using that right now in conjunction with a clean eating diet. Maybe you can give us a scope on kind of what Joe eats throughout the day and kind of throughout the week as well.
Okay. Well, my diet is not the usual diet, because I can usually fix everything at home. So right. I'm not doing fast. In fact, last night I went to a semi-fast food place and got a veggie burger. But that's about as close as I come to it. Usually my diet is, in the morning I'll get up, I'll be doing some yoga when I get up, and so I'll put this pot of oatmeal and raisins and diced up apples. I'll put that on and let it cook while I'm doing about maybe 10 or 12 minutes of yoga. And I'll have that oatmeal with green apple and a bunch of raisins in it, and I'll have some cream. I love to have cream on top, along with just a little bit of maple syrup. And
oh man, that sounds like some good oatmeal right there.
It is like a dessert oatmeal.
Yeah, right. I can see that.
But I just put a little bit of the maple syrup in, so I don't want to. If I overdo it, then I'll feel it. I'll feel jittery, or I'll feel weird. But I've never been into coffee. I've never been into stimulants or anything like that. So that's pretty much it for my breakfast. And around lunch, I'll usually steam like 3 or 4 different kinds of vegetables, and have it with rice. And maybe I'll have a little bit of chicken or fish, or I'll have some legumes, like some kind of beans or lentils, or I like dal, which is an Indian dish. Dal is really good and has a good protein content. I'll have that. So most of my plate looks about, half the plate is these vegetables, and a quarter is maybe rice, and a quarter is whatever protein. And the main thing that I found something really interesting a few years ago. I found that if I spiced the vegetables and the rice, that the flavor, like I didn't used to be that much of a vegetable fan.
Okay.
But with spices, with certain spices on them, and things like nutritional yeast flakes, which you can put on top, they are just like super flavorful. And so I just, I'm hooked on that. It's like if I go someplace else or to a restaurant, I miss the satisfaction that I have when I'm at home, and I can put my own spices in my food.
You need to bring a little like a little spice kit with you. You can shake on the veggies before you serve them up.
Yeah, good idea.
So what's for dinner,
So,
Joe?
so, so dinner, I eat fairly light. I find that if I don't eat light at dinner, I don't sleep that well. And sleep, here's one thing you'll learn as you get older, if you haven't already, is sleep, deep sleep, long deep sleep is not as easy usually when you get older. Your sleep will tend to be lighter and it won't be as long. So sleep is really important because it supports everything else I do. I mean, it supports how I feel, it supports my mood when I wake up, my optimism, and it supports you know, my health and well-being. And if I don't get enough sleep, I don't feel like doing shit. So that's so I eat light, and you know, in the evening I'll usually just make some soup. And if some of those vegetables from lunch are left over, if some stuff from lunch is left over, I'll just dump that in the soup. And I make it real easy. I'm not a big chef, so I get, you know, these soups in a box. You know, you'll find at some of the health food stores, pretty pure, not that many calories, and they're like a soup base. So I use a soup base, and I'll just put that with leftovers from lunch, and I'll have that.
Oh, that's easy. Yeah, that sounds like a really simple diet, and just really, it's shocking to me, Joe. Sometimes people go way, they have like the standard American diet, and they look at themselves like, I want to lose weight, and they choose to go all the way to the other end. I'm going to do my macronutrients, I'm going to eat more vegetables, I'm going to go low carb, I'm going to do cyclical ketogenic, and they just overwhelm themselves when really sometimes you just need to kind of embrace the basics. Eat more vegetables, make sure you get enough protein, drink enough water, sleep. Like, that's kind of the start. Don't eat junk food and sugar. I mean, like, we already know what we're supposed to do. We're just not doing it, right?